We're doing our jacket potatoes. First thing we do is get our foil organised into portion size. Any potato you wish to use, you know there's so many varieties, so we're just using our wash potatoes. We prick, I normally have a skewer but can't find it, so we prick your potatoes on that side. This just lets the steam get into the potatoes and the olive oil and the salt and pepper that I'm about to put on. So that's the first one done. We put a little bit of olive oil, a good amount of salt because it helps the skin dry out, okay? So just rub your hand in the olive oil, rub that all around so that way the salt will penetrate into the potato as well. That basically is it. We wrap it up nice and tight, okay? So fold it over and nice and tight, and you squash it firm, okay? And that is ready for cooking onto your coals. Okay, now we're going to prepare our onions. Red onion, we're going to take the end off of the red onion and we're going to peel it. So our bridge technique, we put our hands over the onion and slice down. Dave is just going to have his red onion char-grilled, so we will leave it like that and char-grill it on the char-grill. Now our brown onions. I like mine sautéed in a bit of butter in foil. So we just prepare the onion, top and tail it, but leave the little bit of root on the bottom. And we peel the rest of the onion off. And as you can see, these ones are the brown onions. Move all of our rubbish onto the plate. And this, we're gonna quarter it. So the root end is down here, so let's put that on the board. We're gonna cut it in quarters, but not all the way through. So if you watch closely, I'll go about 3/4 of the way through that side, turn it around, and the same on this side. Sometimes your knife's really sharp and it will slip through, but that's what we're doing with that. We're going to grab a piece of our butter and we're going to slide it in. As you can see, I haven't quite cut it all the way through. We're going to put the butter in, over to our foil. Going to put a little bit of salt on it. And if you want to put pepper, you can put pepper at this stage as well. And we're just going to wrap that up and we're going to cook that over the foil, over the coals as well. And once again, as with the potatoes, we squash it really hard to keep that butter in. And that's ready to cook on the foil, on the coals.
Righto, so we've got some coals going here. We've actually got a second fire going. So we got a bit of a mixture of the wood. The wood wasn't as wet as we thought, although it's pretty wet. So we got a bit of a mix. Ready to chuck some taters in. So we'll just sweep a few of the coals away. Don't need heaps because the taters will cook just nicely on just a small bit of coals. So we're going to sit them in there. and we'll give them, I don't know, 45 to an hour. See how we go.
We're preparing our corn now. Got this from the greengrocer. We take the husks off, like so. It comes off pretty easy. It's already been pre-cut either end. And then you've got the corn silk, okay? Best way I find to get the corn silk off is literally grab it where the corn silk is and twist around. So you get most of your corn silk off. And then those little bits, we just pick it off. And that's ready to go in your foil as well. And what we are going to do with this, a little bit of butter again. So put the butter on top, just squash it down on top of the corn, okay? And we're just gonna roll it up, like so. Right to the corner. And then we're gonna push those sides under and over and squash it again. Get that so that butter doesn't escape. Yes, it's gonna come out a little bit, but the more moisture you can keep in there, the better. And that will end up on the coals as well.
Even one of the locals smelt the good food and showed up for a look. Yeah, I don't know, folks. This camping business, pretty hard to take wherever you are. All the action's worn the dogs out. So the spuds have been in about half an hour, you know, and the heat feels pretty good, so we're going to chuck in the corn and the onion that's wrapped in foil. The other thing to point out is that every 10 minutes to 15 minutes, we give the spuds a turn. So we just sort of roll them over, give them a rotate, show them some love, and just helps get a bit more of an even heat. And we'll grab the onions. We're going to sit the onions in there. And the corn. As you can see, you don't need a raging fire. You just need a bit of heat in the coals, and that's pretty hot. Like I can't get my hand too close to that. And I do the same with my camp ovens. You'll feel a barrier of heat about 4 to 6 inches away. You know, that part, you can sort of put your hand in, and then you feel that hot air, that real heat that if you go any further, it's going to burn you. That's my temperature gauge anyway, but it's worked so far for 35 years. Kari picks a heap of blackberries, puts them in the freezer and freezes them, and they come out like little gems of flavour. Awesome on a hot day.
Healthy lollies. Bush style.
Okay, now we're making the garlic butter for the porterhouse steaks, guys. We've got a good heaped teaspoon of minced garlic out of the jar. Got fresh garlic, 1.5 cloves maybe. And we've got probably a good 2.5 tablespoons of butter here. And butter is nice, not margarine or anything like that, just gives you the flavour. Okay, if I had parsley, I would chop up some parsley and put some fresh parsley in it as well. But we're just going to mix it up. It's softened butter, so it's a bit easier to mix through. So just mix it all through. It's a bit hard when it's the minced garlic. It's got a bit of the liquid in it as well. But just, you'll get it going. And you give it a bit of a whip once it's mixed through. So you can see it's starting to come together. And that's when we'll turn the bowl on its side and give it a bit of a whisk. And that, you can put some salt and pepper in it as well if you want. Probably not so much salt, but pepper would be really nice as well.
We season the steak with salt and pepper anyway.
Yes, that's correct. And that's your garlic butter. And that's ready for when Dad finishes off the steaks. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes for the potatoes. Just grabbing a knife, I'm going to check them. Here's the foil, and you can see the knife goes through quite easily, and without the potatoes not even sticking to the knife. So they're ready, the potatoes are ready. The onion and corn need a little bit longer, but we'll take them off and they'll stay hot.
Righto, so my red onion that I'm just going to char-grill over the coals. We've just rubbed them down with a bit of olive oil and a pretty good dose of salt on them. And just sit them on the char-grill like this. Probably could put them down the flat side first, but anyway. They're just going to sit there and sear.
Okay, now we're seasoning our porterhouse steaks. Freshly bought from the butcher in Urella. So we're going to put a little bit of olive oil over the top. Sometimes I put my finger over the top of the olive oil so it lessens the flow. Okay. We want to grab the salt. Pepper, fresh cracked pepper is the best. And then we're going to turn them over and same again. Okay, once again, salt. Pepper, rub it in, and now we're ready for the char-grill.
So your red onion, yeah, look, she's bloody beautiful. I actually like it a little bit charred edges and whatnot. So yeah, look, she's coming up really good, and it brings the sweetness out in the onion. That'll be beautiful. Okay, now porterhouse steaks, I'm just going to give them a pretty good sear over the hot coals. Idea is, I mean, we like our meat medium rare, so it just depends on how you like your steaks, but it's not going to take long to do a bit each side. I'm then going to chuck them in the pan with some of the garlic butter, and we'll sauce the garlic butter over the top just to put some of that moisture back in. So we'll just sit them on there. You really want some of those flames to come through because that's flavour. And if it feels like it sticks, just leave it sit for a bit. They will stick at first, but as it cooks, they'll begin to move again. Alright, we've given them a couple of minutes. Oh, look at that. I'm just going to flip them over. You can see how once they're cooked properly, they're not sticking anymore. This one could probably have gone a little bit more on that side, but anyway. So I've got my steaks done. They look pretty good. Beautiful both sides. Nice and brown. Plenty of char going on there. And I'm just going to chuck them in my pan, which is pre-warmed. And I'll put some butter in there. Some of that garlic butter that Michelle did for us. And we'll tip that up. And we'll spoon the garlic butter over the steak. Put another one in there as well. Might give him a turn. Beautiful. Might actually fit all three in there. Good bit of garlic butter in there. Just get that garlic butter on those steaks. The beauty of the cast iron fry pan is they hold the heat. Medium rare. Beautiful. Your butter out of your fry pan once you've served your steaks up on your plate. You know, I could use a spout on the other side, but anyway. There you go. Beautiful. So that's a pretty decent lunch. A few little tips in there, nothing too spectacular, but anyway, that's our porterhouse steak with cob and corn, potato with sour cream, and the red onion. I love my red onion like that. It's bloody beautiful, crunchy bits, delicious. Enjoy, people. So that steak cooked beautifully. As good as it gets. Delicious. How's it going, folks? So, camping tip for the day that we'll share with you. We cook a lot of food. We do a lot of cooking over the fire, over the coals, and a lot of remote camping, as you know. Now, some of those camping areas, you may not have firewood. Like at the moment, a lot of our wood's wet because we've had a week's worth of rain. So one of the tricks that we do is we carry a bag of lump charcoal. It's a lot lighter to carry. It's always dry, so if you're in wet weather, it'll burn no matter what. Produces good heat and is great to cook over. So, you know, if you don't want to load up a load of firewood on the top of your camper or on the top of your caravan or your truck or whatever, it can be messy and it can be very, very heavy. 20 kilo bag of lump charcoal and away you go. Another beauty of the lump charcoal is that if you pull up and you're setting up camp, you can actually get the charcoal going. Say you're a bit later in the day and you want dinner over the coals. Pull up, get the charcoal going, and you can pretty much just build it up, put a couple of jippies underneath it and leave it for a couple of hours and come back, and you've got a good bed of coals there ready to go for dinner.